So this is Camille from Michiko Studios. They're in Times Square.
Bryan Park. Bryan Park, yes. We were in Times Square for about 30 years, and then about a year and a half ago, we moved to 15 West 39th Street. So we're about around the corner, block and halfway from Bryan Park.
Perfect. Excellent. So my first question is, what's inspired you to start your studio?
Well, for me, it was very different. This is my father's studio, and still is. I've been working for him for 10, 11 years now. He's a saxophone repairman, and he came from Italy in the 80s and started doing that in Times Square originally on 46th Street. He built these 4 rooms, and it kind of kept progressing over the years into Michiko Studios. So it's been 30 years, a little over since then. And I love Michiko Studios. I love being a part of it. So I've been very lucky in being able to work here with him and kind of take it over as time goes on.
And he's still here, isn't he?
He's still here, yes. He repairs saxophones on the same floor. We have the 7th and 8th floor, so he's right upstairs, usually repairing saxophones. But that's his specialty and what he loves doing. So I love watching the studios and making sure that's going smoothly for him so he can do his thing. And it really is a great place to work where there's so much music going through from repairs to rehearsals. It's kind of like a one and done shop for most musicians that are in New York City. So people will try and coordinate their rehearsals with their repairs and try and do 2 birds, 1 stone when coming here because there is such a variety of what can be done in Michiko and Rose Winds.
So that leads me into my second question was kind of what kind of musicians do you typically work with?
We typically have a lot of jazz folks stemming from a saxophone repair shop. That's been a lot of our clientele. But being so close to Times Square, we've had so much Broadway and cabaret folks coming through. Being in New York City, there's never really an end of variety of music, but I would say Broadway and jazz is definitely some of our heavier clientele and a lot of freelance teachers as well. A lot of folks teach piano and voice lessons out of our smaller rooms here and to the point where they're here maybe 10 hours a week sometimes. And this is like their office for them. So it's quite a variety, but mainly acoustic, classical, jazz.
So how many spaces do you have?
So currently we have 16 rooms, but we're also under construction. So we have a 17th on the way. And then from there we have 3 more studios we have as planned construction right now. So it's been about a year and a half since we've been in the new space. So we've been building it as we go. And it was a very quick move as well. So we've kind of had the opportunity to see where the studios are leading us. So right now we're looking like it's going to be landing at 19 studios in 2024. And then hopefully some more in 2025.
So what does a day in your life look like?
Day in the life of managing a music studio. So we're open at 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Friday, then 10 to 9 Saturday and Sunday. So we're here pretty much all day, every day. I joke that on a good day, it's the issues no one saw coming. So it's, bands are overbooked or, something happens with the weather and they all kind of collide at the same time. But it really is a great place to work. We see so many from students from like young kids having their first piano lessons and then down the hall having, all-star bands and folks who, most kids look up to when studying music and aspire to be in their career. And it's really amazing to see those 2 worlds collide when you're just kind of passing in the hallway from day one to folks who have Grammys and folks who've been in the industry for so long.
Amazing. Yeah. So that was the kind of leads on to like the view. You're obviously close to the center of the music scene in New York, I think is fair to say. So how have you worked with any like famous, notable artists in the past?
Yeah, we've been very, very honored to have amazing folks coming through our studio. Some days you don't even know. Typically you don't know, but you'll just look up at the desk and I've seen George Clooney walking by. I've seen Brooke Shields walking by. I've, Jerry Seinfeld, Chaz Palminteri. We've seen, Steve Martin came by to Rose Winds long time ago. The night before, Roberto was watching the movie. He looks up and he goes, "I was watching you last night. You're on my desk today."
How did you know?
Yeah, I know. So it's always exciting to see, and especially seeing musicians grow into that level. We've had so many musicians start off just rehearsing here all day, every day, and then now we're trying to get into their shows and trying to buy tickets to see them live, and it's been a beautiful experience to be a part of.
Impressive, yeah. Excellent. So how did your business plans kind of change during COVID?
It was a full 180. I don't even know how to describe it. We, saw pretty early on that we were being affected by COVID as borders were being shut down across the world because tours, musicians on tour needing to rehearse usually stop by Michiko, and they were being canceled weeks and weeks out. So that was a red flag from the beginning, and within a month we had to shut down. The state it was a non-essential business, and we had to shut down. Music industry halted in New York City completely. Everything from Broadway to everything, even the buskers, you couldn't see them outside anymore. It was very long, slow journey. We ended up opening fairly early on in comparison because we had so many freelance teachers working out of here. And we went out solo rooms all the time. So we had teachers either sending in students to Zoom with them from home or vice versa. So we had a lot of teachers working out of here. It was months and months and months of very dead end. We had to change locations. It was definitely a lot of dark days where it was just holding your breath, anxious, quiet, especially being in Times Square where it was like the news cover of empty streets. It was very alarming, but music never died in New York City. Musicians were still reaching out, talking to each other, saying, can't wait till we can do this again. And it's been a long journey, but, it's 4 years later, we're in the new location and we're kind of rebuilding and no one saw it coming, but it's been a blessing in disguise in some ways where we have, a great opportunity to build the studios over again and move them forward with as times change because it's been 30 years and, things definitely changed in New York City. So it's refreshing to kind of catch up with that and start over. But COVID definitely took a very, very big impact on the music industry here and lost a lot of studios, lost a lot of great venues. So we're very honored to still be a spot that was standing. We were one of the last remaining stores on Music Row when we had to leave. I believe there's maybe one or two more spots, maybe just one spot now.
Yeah.
We're out of Baltimore, but we don't have to put that in there. And we were one of the last remaining music store rows. Music Row was in the 80s, only music. That's one of the reasons that Roberto came here in the first place was to see that and to be part of that. And you could pretty much, it was like the Fifth Avenue for clothes for music. So to be there and be one of the last stores standing there and then having to move over COVID was very heartbreaking for us. It was very, very tough time, but it was an honor to be one of the last ones standing. So, it's we're only a few blocks away now. It's Times Square to Bryan Park, so we're still close by. Staying close by the music industry was so important to us. Staying close to Broadway, staying close to Carnegie Hall, staying close to Lincoln Center. That was so crucial for us because that is so much of our customer base and our clientele. And even being in Midtown, it's so crazy and so busy. So many of our customers come here on their lunch break for half an hour just to play piano and just relax and decompress from being in offices and in such high tense and stress situations. So it's like a therapy for some folks, an office for some folks, work for some other people in the way where people come for rehearsals that they don't want to be part of. They want to hang out and chill and just get on stage and play. But it's a rehearsal. Look at him here 4 times this week. But it's good for their music career. And it's
as I say, I think I would, if I was living near it, I'd probably go to the drum practice. So I think I'd be there. So what do you think is the biggest challenge in the industry at the moment?
I would say working with musicians when business and marketing and social media become such a prominent part of business. When we started here, it was very word of mouth. There was not Facebook and Instagram and all these things. You really had to be a part of to keep it going. And renting out studios and rehearsal spaces, it's a very private thing for most clients in there. So it's difficult to always have content, which is such a crucial part. So I guess trying to find the correlation of, making music and it being a very personal kind of, I'm trying to think of what I'm saying before I say this out loud because I can't really get that sentence right in my head right now. I'm trying to think because it's hard to record folks when they're in sessions and get content for, but it's such a crucial part of it. So it's how do you still keep because I think it is important to try and keep people's anonymity a little bit. So if they're working on things they don't want everyone to know about, if there's projects coming up in Broadway or actors are here. I've seen actors here why is an actor here? Why is an actor here? I find out months later they were voice training for a role they have coming up. So it wasn't even vocal lessons or music lesson. It was accent changing because vocal coaches can do that. They can teach you how to sing and make you sound like you're from another state or country. Yeah. So, it's why is this guy here? Why is this guy here? It's oh, I see. That's not the way he talks on TV usually, months and months later. And even folks they'll write music for shows. We have guys that will come in here, you'll see them once or twice a year for 6 hours straight nonstop. It's what are you working on even? I don't even know what song this is. It's I'm writing scores for something. And then we always joke we should try recording a little bit, remember what they were doing. So if we hear it in a movie later on, we're that was him. That was it, maybe. But, it's, I guess, trying to find a marketing point that's matches the excitement that's in Michiko Studios that kind of can reflect that. And I guess just it being a place where it's so music heavy and that's a business in what we do. And, the joke is that most people here doing business things aren't really businessmen or, business minded in that direction, but they're more musicians and they're just trying to find the best way to work together and trying to find the balance of that is always an interesting, being
creative, but then balancing that.
Having to reel it in, but it had to be something logistical over here. What's this a good idea or is this just going to be fun for music? And so I guess it's kind of weird because you'd think that would be so easy to put on social media and it could be so easy. It's just getting folks to be confident enough to tag us and share us and get that word out there, and getting followings and all of that, because people can be harsh on music, and when it's new bands, they're not so much interested sometimes. Keeping up with times as it's been more online and, progressing in that direction, since there wasn't a platform made for music, really, it was very difficult. I was using like nail salons sometimes, booking things and changing out like technicians as like an instrument name. So it should be like a technician's name, and it'd be like congas or like a keyboard. Like,
it didn't really suit where
it didn't really suit. And since it's progressing that direction where it is very much online, and that's a huge presence, since there wasn't a system that worked for music in that way, that was like one seamless and kind of smooth and looked nice. There was maybe like one that did work. It wasn't particularly for music, but it kind of, the format could sort of work, but it didn't look great. It was kind of awkward. I wasn't really a fan, didn't use it. But when we encountered Jammed, it was made that a lot easier, kind of took out some of that middleman of having a musician, doing this computer work that we didn't always want to be doing, and making reservations and canceling and all of that. And especially when you were doing scheduling for big bands and big groups and organizations, when it's sometimes just one person, two people, to groups of like 15, 20, 25. We have like 45 people downstairs in one studio nearly, rotating throughout tonight for recitals. So it's, big groups like that's hard to schedule. And from assistant to the staff at Michiko here to the musicians to going to rehearsal, it's very hard to get that all under one wrap. And Jammed has really taken a good approach to making it easy for musicians to use and understand. And you don't have to have, a tech-savvy brain for it to understand how to use Jammed. Is very straightforward, and that was a huge point for us. Where it was like, easy, I got it in a few seconds. We all understand it. Everyone's on the same page. So it's been, all my customers have been loving it. Much as we miss talking to them on the phone all the time, it's been great to not worry if they have to cancel something, if we miss the phone call, or if it's off hours or whatever is going on. So that's been a huge, huge improvement in taking the business logistics kind of off our plate and putting it into one platform where it connects our point of sales, and folks can log in themselves and change their booking if it's in our cancellation policy, and it all works, and they can reschedule, cancel, refund themselves if it's all lined up well. And it's been a good relief on the desk.
It's good to hear.
A good relief on the desk, yeah.
So do you have any advice for anyone that might be looking to set up a studio?
Oh. It's never going to be what you expect in the day. It's never going to be what you expect in the day. If you expect like a slow, calm day, it's probably not going to be that day. The days where I look at the schedule, I'm like, this is going to be crazy. It's either the best days because it's musicians kind of working together and everyone there, bands are going well, rehearsals going well, things go smoothly and it goes great. There's like, a great energy in the air. It's everyone's playing their music and getting along, and you see so many folks who know each other in the hallways. And there's the days where you think it's going to be slow and calm, and then things hit the fan, especially being in New York City where, there's always some commotion going on where streets are shut down. This guy's in town. I can't get over the bridge, who knows what happens. So it's been never a day you can't expect. And it's either, can't be prepared for it either, but luckily it's music we're dealing with. So it's a lot of creative folks out there and a lot of creative souls coming through. So when there are, bands need to go longer or start earlier. We once had a band that had to stream into Japan till like 3 a.m. and no one really expected to get that phone call that day or even how to navigate that situation. So it was like, well, walk me through it maybe, because if you guys have this idea to call me, maybe we can do it. And we did do it. We hung out till 3 a.m. and we had, all the cameras lined up upstairs, and that was not a day anyone expected that we'd be streaming into Japan, but something hit the fan and their spot couldn't open that evening, and they called us. And like I said, the days you never expect it's going to happen, but it's always something fun and hopefully exciting, and makes the hard work worth it when it's like, well, that was a cool project. Sucks making it happen some days, but watching the end result's always been really amazing.